In one of the most macabre murder cases of the early 20th century, petty criminal Tony Mancini was accused of killing his lover, Violet Kay. But despite her decomposing remains being found in the chest that he had been using as a coffee table, Mancini was still acquitted. While there may be strong suspicions that the jury reached the wrong verdict in many other cases, in this one it is certain that they did. Years later, Mancini later made a deathbed confession. The 42-year-old Violet and her 25-year-old lover inhabited a shady underworld of drugs, drink and petty crime in Brighton, on Britain's south coast. She was a prostitute, and he worked occasionally as a waiter or at the door of a nightclub. Fueled by their deliberating addictions and the difference in their ages, the couple's relationship was stormy, and jealousy boiled over on May 10, 1934. Violet had seen Mancini flirting with a teenage waitress at the Skylark Cafe, and witnesses later testified that an argument was already in progress by the time they returned to their lodgings. That was the last time Violet would be seen alive. For nearly 2 months her body stayed in a trunk at the bottom of Mancini's bed. Although it smelled repulsive and fluids soon began to leak from it, Mancini simply threw a cloth over it and used it as a coffee table. Meanwhile, he tried to cover his tracks by telling those who knew Violet that she had gone away for a while. He also sent a telegram to Violet's sister telling her the same. However, Violet's many prostitute friends became suspicious and reported her missing to the police. They immediately questioned Mancini, who panicked and went on the run. This was enough to prompt a police search, and on July 18th, they entered his lodgings. The first thing that hit them was the smell, which led them straight to the grisly coffee table at the end of Mancini's bed. The police eventually caught up with Mancini in London. He was arrested and faced a jury in December 1934. Over the course of the 5-day trial, the prosecution focused on the fact that Kay had died from a fatal blow to the head and the gruesome coffee table Mancini kept at his lodgings. Who else but a murderer could live with a decaying body, they asked the jury. A handwriting expert was also brought in and confirmed the handwriting on the form for the telegram sent to Violet's sister matched that on the menus Mancini had written at the Skylark Cafe. One witness, Doris Saville, said Mancini had asked her to provide a false alibi. Others, former friends of Mancini, claimed he boasted in the days after the murder of giving his missus the biggest hiding of her life. When the turn came for the case of the defense to be made, Mancini's counsel told the court of Violet's dubious drunken character, her jealousy, and, most crucially, her work as a prostitute. It was argued that Mancini had discovered her body at her flat and assumed she had been killed by a client. On the witness stand, Mancini said he had panicked. He thought that because of his past criminal record, the police would not believe his story and had put her body in a trunk, then taken it with him when he moved to new lodgings. Slowly, the prosecution case began to fall apart. Blood-stained clothing that had been shown as evidence was proved to have been bought after Violet's death, and the defense also told the jury that her body contained morphine. It was possible, they argued, that she had fallen over while high on drugs and hit her head. In spite of their reputation as an argumentative couple, a number of witnesses also confirmed that Mancini and Violet had seemed contented. Mancini told the court he had loved his Violet even though she was a loose woman. After deliberating for 2¼ hours, the jury returned a verdict of not guilty, and Tony Mancini walked free. For the next 42 years, though, his conscience plagued him, and in 1976, shortly before he died, Mancini told a Sunday newspaper how Violet had died. During a blazing row, she had attacked him with the hammer he used to break coal for the fire. He had wrestled it from her, but when she demanded it back, he threw it at her, hitting her on the left temple and killing her.